The press and media is extremely important for the outreach campaign that we are doing on sustainability. If you had seen the scenario about 30 years back, we never used to see the papers on climate change or sustainability, etc. But today, the front lines of the newspaper is carrying the news actually. The reason being, there is a huge impact. Water is not going to be available forever. See, energy, fortunately, we are looking at alternate forms of energy. Water is something which we don't have alternate water. We don't have synthetic water. We still need to depend on the nature's water. And therefore, what the CII did after we did this building, we started the Indian Green Building Council. See, the council it was formed in 2001 in the month of August, and Mr. Shekhar Reddy was there in the first meeting when we launched the council, and he has been a champion of the green movement in Andhra Pradesh, now in Telangana, and across the country also. So with champions like this, I think we have taken it to the country at large. And today India is seen as one of the top 5 countries in the world, which has made its impact in terms of taking sustainability to every doorstep actually. Initially we started with buildings, but very soon in the journey we realized buildings are not enough. Buildings are only one part of our built environment. And therefore, we said let us take it to the built environment at large. And that is today you see not only buildings, but you see in terms of apartments, like what Mr. Shekhar Reddy said, we are close to about 13 lakh apartments which are coming up in the country. Factories, green transit, metros have made a great impact with the leadership being shown by DMRC in Delhi. And now you have got Lucknow, you have got Hyderabad Metro, you have got Chennai Metro, all embracing the concept of green. Green villages, there are 13 villages which have gone green. Villages by nature are green, but we are, from the villages point of view, we are looking at a different concept of green in terms of cleanliness, in terms of availability of power, in terms of availability of water, etc. So there the approach has been different, and now we have got large cities coming into the fold of green. For example, the Amaravati city will receive the award during our Congress. You will see the new town city of Calcutta receiving the award. So there are so slowly this concept is getting into every form of built environment. And ultimately, we want to take it to the doorstep of every individual actually. So though Mr. Shekhar Reddy said that we are one of the world's largest 6.3 billion, but still if you ask me how much of green bills have come up in the last 15 years since we launched, it is less than 5%. That means there is a huge opportunity for others to join this movement, and I am sure through the press and media we will be able to achieve that actually. This is what I meant by the green built environment. We started with commercial buildings. Today you have the residential, the transit. You will be surprised, the Secunderabad railway station will be receiving the award during our Congress. Maybe just even 5 years back we didn't imagine that railway stations will go green actually. But if you look at the commitment of these railway stations, it is phenomenal. I think they will compete with some of the best corporates in the country actually. Buildings do to us by going green actually. For example, the amount of carbon dioxide reduction that every million square feet of green building can do. I think you can see the numbers. I don't want to repeat the numbers. 12,000 tons per million square feet. Now, globally, I think we need to understand this, because then you will be able to appreciate. Globally, if you see, we emit about 30 to 35 billion tons of CO2 every year. And this CO2, its density is extremely low. It's about 0.23 kg per meter cube. So when I say 30 billion tons, you can imagine the volume of CO2 that we are putting in. Let me take it back. You can't do that. Once you have done it. So through the green buildings, every million square feet can reduce about 12,000 tons being put into the environment. That is a big benefit that you get. Therefore, you are cemented. I think I have got slides on that. You will see further. But most importantly, the construction waste. See, waste has become an issue across the country. Waste in terms of our organic waste, in terms of our dry waste also. In fact, the GHMC here also In fact, they have gone to every apartment, given the blue and the green bins to separate the wet and the dry waste. But still it has not gone to the consumer. Why the government is giving us this? Many of us are using it to fill water, which is the worst thing. Actually, we can buy hundreds of these bins. That is only symbolic. What the GHMC did, they're going to every apartment and giving these bins. So I request all of you to call upon the consumers to at least segregate their wet and dry waste. Because if you don't, it looks simple, but it is profound. The government, then don't blame the government. It looks so simple, but even to tell my wife or my daughter, it needs months and months of convincing action. Because you take away the convenience out of that. So this looks very simple, but if we do this simple thing in our houses, I think we would have contributed to the environment in a great measure. So unless you separate the waste, in fact, Bangalore I recently saw, the program failed in 2013 when the government said unless you separate, we don't take. But today, the person who comes in the trolley and picks up the waste, he has been given a public address system. He says, today you have to give me only wet waste. He will announce. So people will go and give only the wet waste. Dry waste is collected only once in a week. Pune is doing it. Indore is doing it. So I think unless similar building in Hyderabad would consume something like 3 lakh units per year. Clearly 30 to 40% savings is clearly documented for the last 15 to 17 years in this building. And therefore, everybody got convinced and the movement picked up from there actually. I think Mr. Shekhar Reddy Garu has spoken about this. Environmental impacts, health and safety. Slowly we are moving it from buildings to resources to health and people actually at large. Because ultimately buildings are for people. It is not for some inanimate things. It is for people who live in buildings. And wherever you are in some form of a building, either it is a commercial building or a mall or a house, somewhere you need a habitat. And therefore, it gets into everybody's life actually. So if green becomes a way of life for everybody, I think our job is done. But gentlemen and ladies, what we have done is less than 5%. Still the 90% is there to be tapped. By 2050, you will have 100 billion square feet. You can't believe this, but it will happen because India is a country whose economy is growing much larger than any other country actually. We are better than US. That is why you get housing loans in US at 3%. You can't get it here. Therefore, I think those 100 billion square feet or 70 billion square feet which would come in the next 30 years or 40 years, we have to be handle it carefully. Because otherwise our own children and their grandchildren will pay a price. Already we are seeing some of the impacts of not doing well actually. Many of the cities, in fact yesterday Supreme Court order said that Diwali crackers across pan-India will be done only between 8 and 10 in the night so that people are not exposed to pollution. Small children, infant babies, old people, sick people are being exposed to the pollution and also the sound pollution also. And in the initial stages it was tough for us because unless you have numbers, nobody will believe. I can't sit in a room and say, I will save 30%, 40%. And what is 30% to me should be 30% across the world. And therefore, we showed it to the world also. That's how we became the first founding members of the World GBC also. India is one of the first founding members of the World GBC. In fact, when some of you are here at the Congress, you will also see the chairman of the World GBC addressing the gathering also. She has confirmed her participation of the World GBC also. So savings were documented and we said, please don't ask the question, what is the incremental cost? That is a question which should never be asked if you want to protect your children and their children. This question is irrelevant and it is a non-issue in today's context. And because whatever initial investment you do, people are getting back in 2 months, 6 months, 1 year. What was earlier 3 years, 5 years? So it is a question which never should be asked at all. So therefore, like what Mr. Shekhar Reddy Garu said, the cost of green buildings has come down in the last 15 to 18 years, largely because more and more people started using these materials. Now, when we did this building, this glass, we didn't have this specification of the glass. We imported from Belgium. This is Pilkington glass. But today I can import it from Chennai at a cost which is 40% lesser. And you spoke about waterless windows also. Insulation materials, efficient fixtures, etc. And I think I don't want to go too technical because I don't want you to get bored also. These are some of the cost of green buildings, how it has come down. Today, there are a lot of developers, including Mr. Shekhar Reddy himself, who has walked the talk, who would vouch that green buildings will not cost even 1 rupee more actually. It can be done at the same cost as any normal building. I think this is a tipping point for the green building itself, where we said we'll ensure that the cost of the cost of a green building and a normal building will be same. But today, I think we can very confidently say that they are almost same today. So I think this has been spoken about, but our vision is almost 90% of the product and materials which gets into a building by value, by cost, should be Green Pro certified, so that the developer, the designers, their due diligence in terms of selecting these building materials will be lesser. They don't need to get into the engineering and the architecture of these materials. Straight away they can pick up these materials. So that is how the Green Pro came. So we have been speaking to several governments, both the central government and the state governments in the last 18 years. Slowly the governments have also started coming into the movement actually. And that's how you see Jaipur giving incentives of 5%, 7.5%, 10%, 12% to buildings which are going greener. Punjab was an early starter, FAR incentive. This can be a tokenism also, but it is a great encouragement for people who want to take up these buildings. So NODA has come, SIDBI is giving a few incentives. And there are several slides on this. I think we'll give a copy of this. But the central government through the MOEF was an early, it gave this incentive almost about 6-7 years back, where it said any building which is being rated green by IGBC will have faster clearance. Because for some of these projects, time is money. I can't keep waiting and waiting. And therefore, the government said, let me give you faster clearance. So the committee which gets into the clearance, if it's an IGBC rated building, they are getting faster clearance. That's a very good thing that has happened to the movement and the sustainability at large. In fact, the Prime Minister of India, Make in India policy also has a mention on this, where a 2 lakh incentive is giving for buildings in the MSME sector when they do their own buildings as green actually. So both the MOEF and the DIPP is encouraging green buildings. You've got several other state governments also, like Punjab. I said Punjab was an early starter here. So Punjab is, that's how you see more and more green buildings also coming up in Punjab today. You have Rajasthan, which initially started with 5%, but today they are going almost up to 12%. And they have increased it not only to the city of Jaipur, but across the state actually. Now, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is, governments have woken up, but they have woken up very powerfully actually. They came in late, but they are encouraging green buildings like never before. Government of West Bengal has done that. Government of West Bengal is doing its own city also as green. The new town, Calcutta, which is coming up in Calcutta, is also being rated green. They will receive the award during the Congress actually. So Pune did this. I think I'll give you a copy of this rating so that you can cover in your articles also, because it will be a repetition if I can keep on mentioning about this. Uttar Pradesh has done this in terms of 5% FAR across the state of Uttar Pradesh. Maharashtra has been encouraging green buildings. You have our own government of Andhra Pradesh and the government of Telangana also giving some subsidies on fixed capital investments and for MSME. This is what Andhra did, and Mr. Shekhar Reddy is also talking to the government of Telangana in terms of taking a similar path actually. The turnover of that service itself is about 250 to 300 crores, which was not there when we started. In terms of materials, $300 billion is the potential by 2025, and that's how we are working on all these materials so that they will be available to the people who want to do green buildings by 2025. Once it is available across the shelf, that means we want to come to a day when a painter goes to a shop, he says, let me have low VOC paints. That is why you see most of the paints will be having a running nose. It is not because of cold. It is because of the poison that they take day in and day out. Because they inhale the low VOC, toxic chemicals which emanate from these paints. That is how you see painters, always they are suffering from allergies actually. But we want to address, we want to reach a day when a painter goes to a shop, demands a green paint or a adhesive, a green adhesive or a sealant. So if we come to that stage, I think we have done our job for sustainability. But it will take years and years. That is where we need your help in terms of reaching the common man. The common man should say, can I get a eco-friendly paint? Can I get a good sealant? So that even if it is done in my house when I am there, it should not affect me actually. And that is how the phenol which we used to use about 30 years back, it has been eliminated almost today. You don't see people using phenol today. Because you wash your house with phenol, people used to cough, people used to, or somebody is suffering from bronchitis, his sufferance will only increase actually. I think it should ultimately reach the common man. I think that is what is extremely important for us actually. So today Telangana is a leader in the country in terms of embracing green buildings. And let me proudly tell you that. Because it is Telangana which gave the land for the green building movement to start right from here. It is Telangana which gave India's first airport here, which is one of the country's largest buildings, about 30 million square feet, which went green with IGBC. The ISB here, the Ascendas V80 Park. I think all these people were the RBI senior officers' quarters close to Begumpet. I think Telangana has been it has been a forerunner in terms of embracing this concept. That is more important. And that is why we brought this event to Hyderabad. Otherwise, we would have taken it to any other state actually. Because we rotate across the country. And so that everybody gets the benefit of. And this event is not just another event for us. This event is a platform for us to take sustainability to the common man. Because it is an event which brings all like-minded people on one platform. Not only in India, but across the people come from across the globe actually. And that is how I think there are slides which will show you people coming from various countries, Canada, US, Singapore, Germany. So we bring them so that people listen to them, get inspired, go back and say, let me do at least one thing out of the 100 things. Even if we inspire, if you get inspired on one concept, that is enough for us. As I said, if my mind is sensitized, something tickling in my mind, yes, let me segregate the waste in my house. If I say that, I think we have achieved a lot. Otherwise, you see in my apartment staying here, you have people returned from the US, you have big officers. The bins have been given to them, but unfortunately water is stored. It shouldn't happen that way. I should know why it has been given to me. So please block this date. Right from 31st evening, all of you should be there. You are our esteemed guests. The invitation is open to you. You can bring in your colleagues also, so that it can reach the common man at large actually. And this venue is one of the best in the country. I think we are extremely proud of this venue actually, where in a single venue you have 2,000 people attending the conferences and the exhibition also happening in the same place. So all the 4 days are flooded with events. These are some of the glimpses of 2014 when we last had it in Hyderabad. So it is coming to Hyderabad after 4 years, but it may again come to Hyderabad after 5 years because there are more contenders for this. More and more people want this event to happen in their cities actually. So last time also we had the support of you can see KTR who immensely supported us in terms of the event. This year also we have requested him to be there. And basically, as I said, we want to show 10 million square feet by 2022, and all the materials and technologies that gets into buildings should be certified Green Pro. That is one of the vision of our chairman, Mr. CII Godrej himself, because he feels that if this is achieved, then our job becomes easier actually. And slowly, as I said earlier, it is getting into people's health, people welfare. The air that you breathe inside a building are extremely important. So from resources, I think we have sensitized people on the resources. Now it is a well-oiled machine, it can go on its own. But now we are trying to set the wheel in motion in terms of the people-centered approach. Can officers be more compassionate towards their employees? Can they give them better air? Can they give them better daylight? Can they create an environment where people will feel happy to come and work? That's what we are working on actually. It will take time, but it will happen actually. So on the left-hand side, you see energy, water, waste, green building products, technologies, which we have addressed to a large extent in the last 2 decades. It has taken us almost 2 decades to address this. So I think next a decade or 1.5 decades, we want to concentrate on health, well-being of people, housing for all. Why should there be somebody without a roof over his head? We shouldn't happen. It should be very unfortunate if that happens in this country. Cities which are livable, give clean air is something which is fundamental to us actually. And that is how in our morning rituals we worship air. We say from Apaha. That is how the theme of this event also is green built environment for people and the planet. So people are extremely important in this journey, and therefore we want to address people at large. So 10 billion square feet by 2022, that is the vision of champions like Shekhar Reddy and our chairman, etc. Have the potential that is available on materials and technologies. There is a huge potential, as I said, 20, 25, 30 billion. It is a very, very conservative estimate, let me tell you that also. And this Congress, if you see, the number of people outside the seminars will also be equal to the people inside the seminars. Because they have come there to establish relationships. They have come there to establish network, to talk to people, to explore opportunities, to see how they can contribute to in terms of sustainability. So that is what this event will also do actually. Training and capacity building, we have got trainings happening across all the 3 days. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, you have to sensitize the young children. So, thanks to Carrier, some 20 lakhs of prize money has been allocated to children for implementation. So you will see 3 schools in this event who will be given about 20 lakhs for implementation actually. And in fact, there is one school in Hyderabad also, which will be receiving the award, but I don't want to disclose right now. Let it be, let there be. But there are schools across the country which have participated in a very, very energizing event, what we call as the Green Your School contest. And these children will also be receiving awards during the event actually. This is the event schedule. I think we'll give you the entire presentation. I don't want to repeat on this. The event will start with the curtain riser on 31st October evening, where the Chief Secretary has confirmed this participation. The formal inaugural of the event will happen on 1st November morning. There is also inaugural on 3rd November morning, where we request your presence in large numbers. Now, I don't want to repeat all this, but the exhibition will go on for all the 3 days, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So we'll give you a copy of this, you can go through in detail. But this event is different from other events that we did in the last 16 years. For example, we have never addressed green and smart cities before. There is an exclusive conference happening on cities where municipal commissioners, state architects, local urban bodies, everybody would assemble there to discuss on how we can make the cities greener. Net zero is something which is close to the hearts of many people today in the country and the world at large. So there will be a panel on net zero. We are going to launch a rating system called as the Net Zero Energy program. So we have the support of the World GBC also on that. We would address the healthcare exclusively through a program where we have a champion of the country, Dr. Chandrasekhar. He was in the Ministry of Health. So he would be leading us in this program. Tremendous leadership he has brought to this subject itself across the country. Affordable housing is, we have the support of CREDI, we have the support of various other agencies also. So we have got an exclusive seminar on affordable housing on the last day. Because green cannot be it can't be only for the elite. You should get into every class of people actually. We also have new products in the exhibition this year. New plumbing pipes with new materials, glass which are interactive, light gauge steel frames so that you reduce on your structural weight of the building, transparent grouts, precast concrete products. These are the things which will also be on display at the exhibition. One beautiful thing that is coming up this year is for the students, architectural students and engineering students. We'll show some films on all the 3 days. So great leadership has come from a local architect here, architect Srinivas Murthy, and Nirvikalpa, who is a film director actually. He prints out films on these subjects year after year. So both these people have given their heart and soul into this. And you will see films being screened this year for the children actually. Also Hyderabad architects have done some extraordinary work across the country. So we have picked up a select about 10 architects who would also display their work in terms of what they have contributed to sustainability. So that will also be on display at the exhibition. Hardeep Singh Puri, a great friend of CII and IGBC, he has confirmed his participation, and he will be with us on the first morning. And he's in charge of the housing and urban affairs. So we are very fortunate that we have him. So he will be addressing the delegates on the first day. And I request all of you to be there on that day, please. These are the luminaires across the world that would be addressing at the event. Thaili Siang, he is a great architect who has been respected for his thought leadership on cities, how to make cities joyful. In fact, he has written a book on this also actually. The second speaker that you see is Lisa Bate, who is now the chairman of the World Green Building Council, the chairperson of the World Green Building Council. Architect Peter Rich from South Africa is a great architect who has addressed the weaker sections in his own country actually, in terms of how we can give them larger dwellings. We have, on the first evening, we have the Swamiji, Gaur Gopal Das Prabhu also. I think I request you to be there because that will be an entertaining session. It will be full of humor, enlightenment. So he will make you laugh, and when you laugh, he will feed messages into you actually. And Raman Rafino is from the Philippines Green Building Council. Hashim Akbari will talk on 31st and again on 2nd. He is seen as an expert on cool roof across the world. We have the CEO of German Sustainable Building Council. I don't want to repeat the names. I think you also see there's a dance performance by Leela Samson. Because all of us will not like to listen to lectures. There are a class of people who would like to take the message through a dance actually. So the theme of our dance is Nadi. How we give a reverence to water, how important is water to the country and the rivers or to the country. That is the message that she is going to send across. And she, along with her troupe of 7 dancers, will convey the message on sustainability on second evening. That is on the Emerson Cup. And she is a Padma Bhushan awardee. She was the chairperson of the Natak Academy also. She's a woman of great accomplishment. So she is there with us. We also have Nidala Ramesh, who is the founder of Sundaram Climate Institute. So they have taken on them in terms of taking the subject of sustainability. How can a corporate NGO take this message to the country at large? She will be talking to us. The last person you see is Dr. Pratap, who is a soldier himself. He has fought for the country, and he will be addressing school children, about 200-300 school children on 2nd November, to inspire them in terms of how important it is to work on sustainability for the country. Because this is also a battle of sorts. He has fought for the country, but here we are fighting for simple things like clean air, water, energy, etc. This is also a battle of in its own kind actually. So I think you have Dr. Pratap who will be addressing school children. So I think fantastic speakers, and we want people to go inspired in their own ways actually. And that is why the dance program, you see some people you get inspired by seeing a dance program. Or if somebody sings a patriotic song, you get inspired on the country itself. So there are several drivers for different people. We are trying to look at that actually. So I think this will be a great event for us, and it is not just one more event. It is a platform. It is to take on the subject of sustainability and advance that in a great way actually. So I would request you to be there for all the 3 days. It is a festival of its own, in its own way actually. It's not an event, it's a festival. Because you see children, old people, the common man, people from other countries, a Swamiji, a dancer, everybody assembling here to convey the message of sustainability. Purchased it for 3 lakhs per kilowatt. Today, you will get it for 50,000 rupees per kilowatt at 1/6 the price. That has reduced. Roof garden we installed at about 100 rupees per square foot. Today people can do roof garden at 40 rupees, 50 rupees per square foot. Insulation, this entire building is insulated in the top using extruded polyester. We did that at 80 rupees per square foot. Today it's available at 20 rupees, 30 rupees per square foot. Waterless units like what Mr. Shekhar Reddy said, we imported at 22,000 rupees a piece. It is not available here. But today, Parryware is doing it, Hindware is doing it at 6,000 rupees a piece. Paints were not available, eco-friendly paints. Today, people are doing it in Chennai. People are doing it in factories here actually. Same story with glass. We invested 500 rupees per square foot. Today, you can get it at 300 rupees per square foot.